Hey everyone, today I'm going to be taking you through the CCC 2021 Senior 1 question called Crazy Fencing. So you guys are probably already familiar with the question if you're clicking onto this video. And I'm just going to be using this online judger to access the question and submit my own solution to it. So this is a contest I did in January, so it was around 2 months ago. And yeah, I'm just going to share what my thought process was when I did this question and how you can solve it. So the main thing that gave it away for me was this explanation of the output for sample 1. And they said when looking from left to right, the individual areas of the pieces of wood are 10, 4.5, and 4. And the way they calculated it was with these 4 numbers every single time. So right off the bat, you can see that there's this kind of pattern that you need to use, and this is how you're going to be manipulating the variables. Essentially, if you want to calculate the whole area, you just have to take each of the individual areas and just add them together. So if you were to take each area and add them to a list and then sum up all of the areas in that list, you get the total area. So in that regard, I thought to myself, well, okay, so one number that is reoccurring every single time is this, the width. The 4, the 1, and the 1. So you have the 4 for the first part, the 1 for the second part, and the 1. So for every width, we're going to have to make this calculation with the respective lengths associated with that width. So then you see the 2 and the 3. So for the 4, you have to use the 2 and the 3, and then with the 1, you use the 3 and the 6, and then with this one, you use the 6 and the 2. And this is the calculation on how it works. And when you get the areas, you add them all together. So you can start by, the first thing you want to do is the n equals int input to get the user input at the beginning. And this is going to be the amount of specific panels of the fence you have. And then you want to make something that tracks all of the height that you have. And then you want to have your width line. Right. And then both of these lines or all 3 of these are input for the user, and that matches up with the input specification with the amount of panels, as well as the all of the heights and all of the widths that are separated with this split function, so they can be accessed easily later on. Next, you're going to want to find out a way to hold a list of all of the areas you're about to calculate. Then you can just use a simple for loop and cycle through everything. So the first thing you're going to want to do for every single panel, you're going to first want to get the width of that panel, and then that's just used from the integer. You can convert the int from the first height, or the first width rather, and that would be your I. So it's going to cycle through this loop, and it's going to set the current width, whatever you're working with, to the first line of the width line. So if you had a bunch of numbers like this, it's going to first go through the number 0, which is going to target this over here. So we just leave it as I and continue. Another thing we want to access is the height that is right to it. So then we can simply do this by just taking the height line and getting the one that is to the right of it. So I did an addition of 1 because that's going to be the height that's to the right of where you are. So if I was retrieving the 4, well, the 4 is the first in the width line. However, the 3 that we need to access for the right height is the second in the width line. So that's why I do the +1, because the left height is the one that is the one on the left. So you wouldn't have to actually do an addition 1 over there. And then you can calculate the area with the same logic that the question provided. So the current width times the right height plus the left height, and then divided it by 2. And make sure your brackets are, all in order, just to make sure that everything works smoothly. You want to make sure that these are getting added together, and then it multiplies with that, and then you divide 2 at the end. Great. And then with that area that you just got, this is just going to be one panel, so then you append it to the list we created before. So this is going to cycle through every single panel, and it's going to collect all of the areas of each panel. And then all we have to do is just get the sum of all of that, and you can just do that in one line. Just print this using the sum function. You can just add everything in your list, and that would print the total area. And you can run module, and we can test some of this sample input. So I can copy and paste this and do that. And it looks like we do have some problems, but I think I know what I did wrong. You guys might have noticed as well, but I forgot to put these brackets, and it should work now. So as you can see here, it's giving me the 75 that I needed, which is great. And I can go with the first one. So let me move it. And it's giving me the 18.5, just like I expected. So now that my program is working, I know that I can submit it to DMOJ just like this. And all you have to do with DMOJ, the great part about it is you just can copy and paste your code and submit. Make sure you select the right language, and you're ready to go. And as you can see here, it was final score of 15 out of 15. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll try to upload some more questions later on in the month.